home for fun, fearless, and factual content. It's barely a week to Ghana Decide 2020. We have heard from the NDC, you have heard from the MPP, but what happens to the voter who is demanding an alternative to what has become a political duopoly? Today on Spotlight, we give you some alternatives to different governance perspectives that you, the voter, can choose from. We're going to go for a quick break, and when we come back, I'll be introducing you to the guests we have in-house.
Hello viewers, I'm feeling very frustrated and bored in Sambulai. I'm very happy. If you don't understand, don't worry, because myself, I don't understand. In this addition, Vodafone Ghana has now made it possible to send money from Vodafone Cash to all network free. We will cross over to our senior reporter for more details.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing in front downtown. You know, I'm learning to make a vlog. I'm not funny as you said. Vodafone, I'm not quite said. Ultimate Senesika do Topia, Emily do Topia, Echo all the network. I will check couple with TC Montezo. Diamond Falcon.
Fifia, Matendo says, don't you put charges, Manome? Cho, nye bro, charges on your wumlo, a do harmonium, a be a roach says, do the ha, charges or clung down.
Hanning and you may no me. Instant America charges me no charges I met G, Naka charges say when we know money cafe ni BP. Oh, honey food for oh,
for me, I do a lot of online transactions. I guess here. See, the excitement for me is that I get to save a lot on Vodafone Cash.
Please put me down.
I'm so excited. I can now send money to all networks without any charges.
Me ye jediniba. A bribia says me chia me juma ye fokan. Sika me chia se charges no. And do so do. Nansu say dear. Me da Vodafone Cash.
Sending money on Vodafone Cash to all networks is now free. Send any amount of money as many times as you like to all networks for free. Dial *110# now to send money.
Anyone for Masumo. Video 2. Put him in car. And yeah, Musomame.
This is the red news. Apologize.
The future is exciting. Ready?
Welcome back. You're still watching Spotlight. Today we are discussing alternatives to NPP and NDC, third party and independent political candidates, and what they have to offer in terms of policy alternatives concerning the major areas that matter to you. We have in the studio Hassan Ayariga from the APC party. We also have Kofi Akpaloo from the LPG party. They are going to be talking to you about how they will address varying governance issues. Honorables, you're welcome to Spotlight.
Thank you.
Before we started, in fact, we had Alfred Walker. He was going to join us. Unfortunately, when I called him this afternoon, he said he had been involved in an accident. And then we talked about the rampant accidents on the roads. So I wanted to find out if you have been experiencing similar on the roads, Mr. Ayariga.
Yes, almost every time. As you crisscross around the country, we've had several accidents, 4 times so far.
4 accidents?
4 accidents. We've damaged about 6 cars.
Oh.
And
this is capital intensive.
Yes. I mean, running for presidency is not a joke. It involves a lot of money. It involves a lot of attention.
But do you lose any? You've not lost any lives?
No. These are just mere accidents from the drivers' carelessness, some of them, and then sometimes to Other drivers. In Ghana, when you are driving, you drive for yourself and you drive for another person.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, you're going to cause a lot of accidents. So sometimes, and because of the length of the convoy, you get into places that people do not even want to give you space. And by so doing, you get hooked up one way or the other, and then boom, the accident happens.
But have you considered reducing the length of the convoy?
Depending on where you go and the length of the convoy. Sometimes if you are within town, the convoy can reduce to 7. But when you're out of town, then you have to meet with the regional and national, regional representatives in the regions, and they join up with their vehicles, and sometimes it even goes more than 10.
Oh, that's quite a lot.
Yeah.
Mr. Akpaloo, what about you? Have you experienced these accidents? And do you think it has anything to do with the roads?
Yes.
Yeah, like I said, just when I was coming to this place, I had a call that 2 of my vehicles had involved themselves in an accident, and I mean, we lost one of the car actually totally. It has gone totally, so off totally. So
you've also lost a few cars to accidents?
Oh yeah. I mean, it happens all the time because you're always on the road doing something. And actually, where this happened, it was a dusty road and Kwanta in the Uti region.
Okay.
And so they couldn't see their way.
So for you, it's more of the condition of the road?
Actually, this is because of the nature of the road. Because the dust on the road was too much, and it's like a crowded, so they couldn't see the cars ahead of them.
I like that you bring in roads. You're running for presidency in 2020. What would you do differently about the roads?
I have a plan.
Tell us your plan.
Yeah, by 2024, we're going to have all our road network fixed.
All our road networks?
All our road networks. We're going to fix every
Kulungugu?
Everywhere in the country. We'll fix them because we don't have the time, okay, to waste. So we have to invest in developing our roads to create jobs and to create wealth. Building the roads alone, you are creating jobs, okay? The companies that will supply you the materials, the cement, the iron rods, whatever, you are creating jobs. Those who are going to supply food for the workers on the site, you are creating jobs. The vehicles that will be conveying materials, haulage, you are creating jobs. The oil businesses who will be supplying these haulage companies oil, you are creating jobs. You are sustaining jobs, you are creating jobs. So even the banks who are going to lend the contractors money to go on site, you are creating jobs because you are sustaining jobs.
But
so,
something has to finance this huge undertaking.
Exactly.
Where will the money come from?
We will borrow the money.
From?
We'll borrow the money from Bank of Ghana to do that.
Okay, so we've been talking a lot about Ghana debt.
It's not anything. It's just $40 billion. It's just a peanut.
Oh, by your calculation?
It's just peanut. It's just peanut. You know, you see, when you think big and you want to do big stuff, you see that $40 billion for a country like Ghana. So
you're saying by your calculation, the road construction from Kulungugu, Hamile down to Axim and beyond will cost $40 billion?
No. You brought in Ghana's total debt.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, Ghana's total debt is $40 billion.
But how much will it cost to construct these roads?
Oh, with something less than $10 billion, we're able to fix all Ghana roads.
Less than $10 billion?
Yeah, we're able to fix all Ghana road network. Okay.
So this will come from the Bank of Ghana?
Yeah, we borrow the money from there. We already have the money.
They do have the money, but Ghana's expenditure always exceeds the revenue. Anyway.
You see, that's the problem. When you mention, we have what we call recurrent expenditure, and we have what we call investment. Okay, that's the capital expenditure. When you pick the accounts, okay, of any company or whatsoever, we have the income statement, and then we have the financial position statement. The income statement is the revenue and then the expenses. Okay.
Are you an accountant?
Yes, I am. I'm a chartered certified accountant. You see, so those.
But you see, in Ghana, we have roads that we constantly maintain every year.
Yeah, we have
this is going to end up recurring.
Exactly.
Because maintenance
you see, whether you like it or not, you need the roads. You need lives. You need people to be alive. You want all your stuff from the hinterlands to come to the city or come to the market. Without good roads, how do you send them? So you need to fix the roads. But the truth of the matter is that you need to borrow to invest, to develop your country, so that in the long run, this will work to pay back. Okay. Now, this company you are working with.
Okay.
I'm coming. Let me give you a scenario. This company that you are working with. Okay. The investment, the person, whoever owns this company, invested here to set it up. The person is not expecting to get the returns in a year or maybe 6 months. But all the money, whether borrowing or his own equity, he has put them together to build this company, expecting to get the returns in the future. Okay, so whatever you are doing, you have to look beyond today. You invest to develop everything, and then the thing will give you the returns gradually. So when you have good rules in the country, one, you save lives. Two, you are creating jobs for them. And then also we're talking about the maintenance, the recurring every year, because there will be weather conditions. There will be rain season, there will be sunny season, and then when you have the wet and then the dry season, then the road architecture will be changing. Okay, the moisture will be changing.
You see, some would say that if we are just going to borrow to solve all the problems, that's easy for any party to do.
Oh no!
Is there
no? You see, no, not everybody have that capacity. Okay, not everybody have that capacity to raise that money. Okay, now let me tell you something. When you take a country like Italy, if you check there, you can ask your researchers to just give you how much they owe. In total, is 2.8 trillion
of sustainable debt.
US dollars, 2.8 trillion US dollars. A country like Italy. Now, if you take the whole of Africa, including South Africa, Ghana, everybody, the whole Africa, our total debt is 1.3 trillion.
That's where sustainability comes in.
No, that is why we are poor, because they have conscientized us to believe that borrowing is wrong. They have conscientized us to believe that when you borrow, okay,
I think the argument about borrowing hinges on sustainability, like I mentioned, because if you borrow for projects that are not able to sustain themselves, which means to pay for themselves in the future, that is the bad debt. Because if your debt is going into projects that cannot sustain themselves and pay for themselves,
no, so the roads are going to pay back.
How will the roads pay back the 10 billion?
Because when productivity goes up, okay, when you produce in the villages, when you produce everywhere, and then transaction is moving on, you are creating money, you are creating wealth. So you need a road network to enable you to increase productivity and also commerce, okay, trade and industry will grow. That is how we build out a country. You see, we don't look at a country like. You see, if you're managing a country, you have to take it like you're managing a business entity. That is how it should be in your mind. Other than that, you can't run it. Africa, we are where we are.
Do you think we can raise some of this money locally, even if not all of it?
We can raise everything here.
What's the plan to raise it here?
We don't have...
internal revenue.
Yeah, you see...
Oh, no, I'll come to you.
no, I'm coming. Let me educate everybody.
Please.
Okay, I'm talking as an accountant, as a professional person. Okay? I've worked with Northern Trust Investor Services. Okay, you can check. We're talking about trillions entity. Now, with much experience when it comes to finance, let me tell you something. This country that we have our own sovereign money. That money that we have is this money. At least, let me pull one. You see this currency here? Who controls it? Ghana government.
The Bank of Ghana.
Bank of Ghana is out. Do you know the quantity they have in stock?
I have no idea.
Okay. Apart from this is not the only money. We have different types of money. You have what we call ledger money. Okay. I'm going to give you small tutorial.
Please don't worry. Educate us.
Yeah.
You got an accountant sitting right here.
No, we have what you call ledger money. Okay. When you say ledger money, anytime you go to bank and you want to raise money. The bank will give you a note. And then on that note, they will tell you, oh, you have been approved a loan of whatever amount. And then they give you a letter, okay? You sign to take it. Now, they don't give you this paper. So, do you know what the bank has done? The bank has created money. That is money creation. The bank has created money because...
but you see, the question was how we can raise the money locally.
No, that's what I'm telling you. I'm educating you.
Are we going to create...
No, listen to me. So Bank of Ghana can just put money in an account for you. Okay.
So are we just going to print money?
No, you don't need to print this currency. But what I'm telling you is that the Bank of Ghana can just create money, create a ledger for you, a loan account.
Okay.
You have the money.
Well, commercial banks do the same thing when they create money also.
Exactly. So that's what I'm telling you. If I need $3 billion, okay, I don't need to go to China. Okay? If I go to China to raise $3 billion, okay, I should be able to go to Bank of Ghana to get equivalent, which is 18 billion Ghana cedis. Okay? They have control over this. And that 18 billion, when they give you, you'll be able to build your economy. You'll be able to buy goods and services here. Now, John Mahama's time, you know, they built Kumasi KGTR, they built whatever. They're all loans, is that not it? But, you know, it didn't have any impact on the economy because they borrow from China, they borrow from, what do you call that place? Brazil. So they brought all the materials to build whatever they built. So they didn't buy any single item from this country. So if you want to build...
So that's what you're going to do differently?
Yes, exactly. Because when I buy locally, my contractors in Ghana, when they buy locally, all the materials, because they can get the chippings, they can get everything down here. Okay? And then when you build, you are creating jobs, you are creating wealth in an economy. Mr.
Akpaloo, I want you to hold that thought. I just want to go to the other accountant in the studio.
No, he's not an accountant. No, you see, I want people to understand this. When you tell an accountant, okay, accountants is like a medical doctor. Okay. You cannot just sit somewhere and call yourself a medical doctor when you don't belong to an association. You must belong to an association. Okay. Which association does it belong to? Right. Is it CA? Right. Is it ACCA?
Let's take his opinion as an opposing
before you can call yourself an accountant. Before you can call yourself an accountant.
That's all right.
You must belong to an association. So which association does it belong to?
Which
you need to find out.
You see,
that's okay.
The man,
we'll get back to that.
No. I will not go down the lane.
Before you describe yourself,
it's all right.
You must tell us.
You don't know my background.
So let's take his opinion as an opposing presidential candidate.
The name again,
Nuong Faalong.
Nuong. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. You see, before you can describe yourself as a professional person, okay? Right. You must belong to an association.
We get that.
A professional body. If you don't belong to a professional body, you can't call yourself.
Sustained.
Exactly.
Sustained. Now moving on, I'm seeking his opinion as an opposing presidential candidate.
I don't have a problem.
Honorable.
But
first of all, what is your plan? What is your plan to raise local?
First of all, let me educate this so-called accountant. That if he doesn't know, hold on. When you are talking, hold on. Let me listen.
That's okay.
I did ACCA in London.
ACCA.
In London. Hold on.
So okay, ACCA.
You are asking me.
What is your number?
You are asking me.
That's okay.
No. What is his number?
Mr. Akpaloo. Let's finish. I'll come back. I'll come back to you.
Yeah. Mr. Akpaloo.
Oh, Masa.
I am sure that if you go and read my background,
no.
You will realize that I went to the London College of Accountancy.
No.
Which school did you go?
No.
Which school did you go?
No. I mean, I didn't go to school. But
thank you. I want you want to know about my history.
Okay.
And I'm telling you.
Let's stay on the substantive matter.
No, SCCA,
we are talking about how to raise
what is his number?
Domestic revenue. How to raise domestic revenue. Hassan Ayariga, how will you raise domestic revenue?
When you are not
Let's assume that we are going to embark on a lot of projects.
When did you charter?
Construction projects.
When did you charter?
Wow. We've moved on from that subject.
Okay.
We are talking about how you will raise domestic revenue.
Yeah.
Honorable, how will you raise domestic revenue?
First of all,
thank you.
Like I said, let me educate this so-called accountant. All that he has said has no basis in accounting. He's just rattling anything. Anybody who's an accountant listening to him would know that he's probably in the primary school trying to educate himself on accountancy. You don't sit down and all the facts you give. Which basis of the accounting does it qualify? You talk about borrowing. When a country begins to borrow, what it means is its financial strength is weak.
So you won't borrow?
Not at all.
What it means that will not borrow?
Not at all.
I'm
going to educate him. I am going to educate him so that he will go and upgrade his accounting firm.
Educate all of us.
Yes. So you see, in accounting, we have what do you call it? The ledger.
Can we move from accounting to Ghana?
Okay, let's move. I wanted to educate him on something, but I will as I speak. If he understands the accounting terms very well, he will educate himself. If he doesn't, those who understand will continue. Proceed. Look, a country like Ghana, over the years, We've borrowed $39 billion. If he doesn't know, he should know. 71% to GDP, which shows that we are weak in our raising financial sustainability to be able to improve and build.
So you think borrowing means
borrowing? Borrowing. It's a last resort to any company that cannot generate finance or generate revenue internally.
But government after government in Ghana has borrowed.
Because they cannot raise revenue internally. When you cannot raise revenue internally, you sort out for borrowing.
So what's your approach to increasing internal revenue?
We're talking about roads. You started with the issue of
construction of roads.
Construction of roads. It's very easy to construct roads.
How
Over the years, there's too much wastage. That is why we borrow. We borrow because there's too much corruption. If you look at the 39 billion so far borrowed over the years, and then you ask all these politicians to tell you where it went to, they are unable to tell you. Because even as we speak now, even within Accra, the roads are bad. As we speak now, even Kumasi, the roads are bad. Not to talk of the hinterland where I come from, Boku, Bolga, Kumasi, and Tamale, and all those places. The major roads alone is a problem. Internally, community by community, roads are bad. No roads, not to even talk of gutters. That is why there's so much flooding. When it rains 5 minutes, 30 minutes, the whole country is flooded. You know why?
So the roads, the drainage.
They drainage the roads.
What do you do about it?
So what we need to do is that the private sector is doing so well in terms of infrastructure. And government is not doing anything at all. Private sector people are building their homes, their companies all around. All government needs to do, even if we cannot raise internally, we need to tax the people in community by community, village by village, state by state. Once people begin, you create a normal path, which calls rough road. Every household that lives within that community, raising internally, you tax, because you are going to use that road. So once you are on that lane, you are supposed to pay road tax. So we will create offices.
You're going to increase the tax burden of...
It's not about tax burden. It's not a tax burden. It's an obligation. There's a difference between tax burden and obligation.
But we already pay.
No, we're not paying. We're not paying for road levies. We're not. What we pay is toll. The one city toll that we pay, that people do. Nobody pays for road at the moment in the communities we live. In the U.S., where he thinks he has gone to, everybody pays for road usage.
So that's what you will introduce?
We will introduce road taxation in community by community. So let's
assume that road levies community by community.
So that at least
the district assembly is taking this?
Taking this, we'll put up office so that we begin to know that we are responsible for our development.
So you decentralize
road construction. And then secondly, most important thing is that we've been doing asphalt, and that has caused the wastage. We have to do concrete roads. So we are going to do concrete roads, 2-lane, 4-lane, 6-lane, linking major cities and towns. Once you do a concrete road, it lasts for 100 years. But you see, repeatedly.
So you are allowing this man
Honorable.
to be saying all these things, knowing that.
Mr. Akpaloo,
when you were talking, I'm not.
Mr. Akpaloo, you let him land and then you can critique it.
Okay, because
Give
see,
me a
people
moment.
are listening here. Yes. They are watching. You see, they have to take us serious.
Mr. Akpaloo,
because as a people, please, we want to manage this country. You are sitting here. No, you are sitting here. You are telling the whole world that when you get opportunity, which is unlikely, that when you become president, you are not going to borrow money. You are going to build concrete roads. You are going to do this. My sister, we don't use our mouth. You need money to do that.
Madam, that's disrespectful act. I won't take it.
Honorable.
Please. Let him apologize. I don't take that nonsense.
Honorable. Let him finish.
No, let him remove that. I don't use our mouth. I'm not.
No, but you are using your mouth to say.
No. Please. If you want this.
Let's be.
I will walk away.
In our approach.
Yeah. I will walk away.
Let's try to be decorous
in
our approach.
I will walk away.
So that we can both land for the benefit of the viewers.
Okay.
Yes. Because the viewers are the main beneficiary at the end of the day.
With you perfectly.
Honorable, you were making a point.
No, I will not make the point.
Constructing roads.
I will not make the point again. I think that this man is not qualified to debate me, to sit with me in a program.
Mr. Akpaloo,
I have respected him.
Please
and he doesn't
allow him to
respect
land.
him.
You know, he allowed you
himself.
to land earlier before he came in.
I don't take that.
About your approach to construction before he came in. So
when he started talking, I kept mute.
Right.
Whether I like his approach or not,
Agreed.
I kept mute.
Agreed.
As people who want to aspire to be President of the Republic of Ghana,
Mr. Akpaloo, so you're going to let him land?
No, listen to me. Must be tolerant and respectful, and not disrespectful.
Mr. Ayariga, take us through this. Do you have any different opinions or policies concerning education in Ghana?
Yeah, I think that so far we've been training avoidable graduates who will only read, write, and pass exams. And we have not trained innovative and creative leaders so far. So you realize that when students come out of school and graduate, they rush out there looking for jobs instead of they themselves creating jobs. Because our educational sector is supposed to allow our students and our graduates, when they come out of school, that they become more creative, innovative in their field of study and learning. Over the years, we've adapted the Nkrumah style, and as century changes, we haven't actually looked at the education sector so well to link up to the industry and the requirement of the Ghanaian people. So over the years, we have produced avoidable graduates instead of absorbable graduates.
The recent WAEC results, there were actually some very high passes.
I'm not talking about, you are not listening to the effect of my message. Yes. All I'm saying is that we are training them to read, write, and pass exams.
Yes.
But we are not training them to be creative and innovative. So the formal sector is doing much better than the informal sector is doing much better than
so
we
So you
are
think
training.
the results has no impact on their creativity?
It's not. It's just for them to pass exams. But at the end of the day, when they come out, what do? They go around with their certificates looking for jobs instead of they themselves creating jobs. Let me give an example so that you understand what I'm talking about. If you take the informal sector and you take a mechanic, or you take a welder, or you take a tailor, a mechanic, after passing out, the next day, he goes to open up a shop, clean the place, buy his equipment, and then he starts doing what? Employing others. And he becomes a mechanic, and he's servicing cars. A welder, after passing, come out, get some small piece of land, clean the place, buy his welding tools. The next day, he's doing gates, doors, he's employed more.
So your focus will be on technical?
Not only technical and vocational, but we need to be more creative and innovative. So we need to link our educational skill training, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, so that we produce graduates that fit into the industry that we're looking for in the 21st century.
So graduates who are more technical and practical?
Yes, so we have only graduates, they have a certificate. I'm an accountant. What can he do? He walks around telling rubbish, okay, saying all sorts of things, and he cannot even create jobs. Are you with me? He doesn't do anything. I'm an engineer. He walks away in town looking for a job to become an engineer. He cannot manufacture even a pen. He cannot build. So we are practically just holding certificates, but in actual sense, we are not trained to the task of becoming better society and building the society. So all we need to do is that I intend to bring a national data system that will capture the details and information of every Ghanaian. And when we capture that details right from the childbirth.
We have the MPP working on the national identification.
That is a national identification. They're different from a data system.
It's capturing data. They've actually merged with the Ghana Post GPS. I mean, these are their policies aimed at capturing data of the Ghanaian.
If the MPP policy is to capture data, Hassan Ayariga policy is to give you a national data system that will register you, your date of birth, your blood sample, your facial recognition, your fingerprint, your income, where you work, your salary, the amount of money you earn, the number of properties you have, the number of houses you have, who you are married to, how many children you have. All this is not the MPP data. Do they have this data? So listen to my, everybody comes with a different kind of data.
So you're adding extras.
Extras to have everybody's information perfect. The moment you key in, Madam Charlotte Osei, or Madame Jean Mensah, you have information of Madame Charlotte Osei, right from her date of birth to what she's doing, even currently. You get every information about her, where she works, so that we are going to be able to curb corruption with that kind of data. So if, for instance, you work here, and your salary is 10,000 Ghana cedis, but you have a car that, in the data, you have a car that shows that your car is $200,000, and you did not borrow the money, but you bought it cash. You have a house that's over $1 million. You did not borrow. So we will have to tally to see whether it tallies. We have to work to see. If it doesn't, you are corrupt. So you have to come and answer to the special prosecutor and the GRA how you raise that money to be able to do all these things. So our data will now give every institution some sequence or some kind of information. So every information will derive its data from us, from the national data system.
A central database.
Thank you. Now you understand it. So the NIA card is just a card. It has nothing about...
Oh, but there's some data behind it. It's not
a little. Even the NIA card, we are scrapping it off and getting the data card. So that data, every Ghanaian will work with that card. Every Ghanaian must work with that card. So with the data system, we develop the National Development Plan. We come in with a new National Development Plan to link out with the data that we have.
You also created a National Development Plan?
Exactly.
How many years?
Oh, every 5-10 years we have to look at it, depending on the data system that we have. With the data system, we now build a National Development Plan to link up to every institution. So that now the educational sector that you are talking about, with our database, we now know that the number of graduates that graduate from school is this and this. Already we have 18,585 primary schools. We have 8,890 senior high schools. So all this data will show. And now we now begin to train, okay, what do we want to have in the 21st century? What is our plan for the 21st century? We want to build TVs. We want to build radios.
Hold the thought. We'll come
Let me land.
to
Let me land. 1 minute.
Okay.
Let me land. We want to start manufacturing mobile phones and all that. Now, our educational sector will now be linked to that, so that kids from the primary school will now start learning how to build radio, television, and that. So that is the way we have to change.
So your data system is identifying the needs.
The needs, the wants, the necessities
of the country,
everything.
And then feeding it into the educational system.
Sector. So every sector will get a balance of what we want to do.
Interesting. Very interesting. Mr. Akpaloo, you have heard the APC's approach. What is your alternative to the educational system, improving education in Ghana? I know you also mentioned that for technical skills, students, for persons who are learning technical skills, you'll be paying their fees for them to their masters, what they call tuinsa. Like, for example, if someone's going to learn hairdressing, you pay the fee. If someone's going to learn maybe fitting, you pay the fee. But what is your policy detail to approach education? Let's include the technical skills.
Okay. Actually, everything that we are doing, the end result is creating jobs, creating wealth. If it's not going to create jobs, we're not going to create wealth. We won't waste our energy.
I see.
Yeah. So we are looking at adding, combining JHS and the SHS to become one school. So JHS and SHS will become one school. We'll be on the same compound.
Okay.
Okay.
So you are integrating JHS
and the SHS. So the same 3 years, but to be on the same compound.
Is there a goal to this? What are we trying to achieve?
Well, what we are trying to achieve is that we want to reduce the cost of running a secondary education.
Okay.
Okay. Because when that is done, we don't necessarily need anybody.
But we'll still need extra classrooms if we are putting
exactly. That will be a one-off cost. Okay. But looking at the recurring expenditure, it will go down because you might not need boarding facility. Okay. Fantastic. Now, the existing senior high schools like Achimota, like Prempeh College, Kumasi Academy, and the rest, will convert them into tertiary institutions like Institute of Technologies. And
okay, so you migrate them to a different location?
No, you see, where the kid had his BEC on the same campus, he was going to have the SSE.
So what becomes of the secondary schools?
Yes, we'll convert them into universities and polytechnics.
Okay.
And then
will they maintain their names?
Oh, no, the name, we can give any name to it. Maybe Apiam. Even today, you had one university named after Apiaminka, Apiaminka. So it can be Pokuare, University of Pokuare, whatever. It doesn't matter. Achimota University or whatever.
So essentially, we'll have more universities.
Exactly. we have more universities and polytechnics across the country. Now, aside that, every university or polytechnic in this country will have what they call business incubator. Well, those with fantastic business ideas will go in there and then they will help them to develop that idea. Okay? Aside that,
so every university has a business incubator section.
Exactly. And then those from primary school up to university, looking at the future jobs, the requirement for future jobs, you need ICT background. So we want to help our kids to learn compulsory computer programming and coding. Okay? It will be part of their curriculum.
So you have a focus on STEM.
Exactly. And then also looking at those coming out from SHS or BEC, we don't want to continue, okay? Maybe they want to learn a trade. They want to learn seamstress, bakery, whatever. The course associated with that training will be taken care of by the government. The government will pay all the costs associated with somebody going into that training.
Government is incurring a lot of costs.
Oh, yes. Because, you see, when you prepare them and they start earning money, they'll pay back. Because you are paying back.
So your plan is the initial cost to be high.
Exactly.
But you are expecting that the cost to...
You see, if I invest $100,000 in you, and then you start working, when you start working, it will take you, assuming I'm giving an average age, let's assume you are 30 years. You have the next 30 years to work. Okay? And that next 30 years, you'll be working, and then we'll be taking taxes from you for the next 30 years, and it will pay off the cost that we've incurred. So
it will be taxed to defray
the cost. So far as you are working, you pay tax. If you are making income in the country, so anywhere in the world,
the revenue will come from that.
It will be better for me to invest in you so that you can start working and making money than allowing you to work on the street. Any serious government will invest in its people. You see, we invest in the people so that they will add value. They will all be productive in society. Okay?
Mr. Akpaloo, we have to take a quick break here, but we'll be back to that topic. You're still watching Spotlight on MX24. We're speaking to Mr. Hassan Ayariga of the APC and Mr. Kofi Akpaloo of the LPG. They have been discussing with us some of their policy interventions that are different from the NDC and the NPP and why their options are more superior. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, the conversation continues. Stay with us.
No, this is not business as usual. This is a different kind of business. From the global stock market to our central bank to insights on insurance and investment, Spotlight is the show for you. Here, we look beyond the numbers. On Spotlight, we'll tell you the complexity behind the figures. On Spotlight, we examine hardcore financial issues. Join me, Philip Nanfuri, on MX24, together with policymakers and experts as we talk business. Opinions are like onions. Everybody has one.
Abortion is a no-no. As a human being, you must take responsibility for all your actions and inactions. Your misjudgment shouldn't be enough grounds to take a life.
No. I disagree with you because look, if you do not legalize it, people will go to crack process anyway who might end up not just kill the baby but the mother as well.
Why should I waste my time joining a long queue under the hot sun to vote for a political party knowing very well that nothing would be achieved at the end of the day?
Something will be achieved. It's your civic responsibility to turn out to vote. Vote and vote for a good leader.
Governments need to cater to every graduate, diversify the economy, invest in other sectors.
But the government cannot do it all. That is why we need the youth to take up the mantle and set up their own businesses. That is how we will create economic viability.
Here on Opposing Views, we take your views, my views, and the views of the experts and put them in the right context for you, our discerning viewers.
welcome back to Spotlight. Today we are discussing minority and third-party political candidates. We have in the studio Hassan Ayariga of the APC. We have in the studio also Kofi Akpaloo of the LPG party. We've looked at revenue generation, we looked at education and roads, and we are continuing the conversation, this time focusing on health. So I'll take that with you first.
You didn't let me land, though.
You did mention the alternative intervention, but is there something that we did not get before we went on the break?
Yeah, because I was talking about investing in educating people, equipping people. So those who want to go into apprenticeship, we are going to pay for all the costs associated with their training. And when they are done with their training, we also give them loans to start their own businesses.
Okay, that's the part we didn't get. Didn't get the loans part. Okay,
so that will give them loans to start their own businesses. Because there are a lot of young people out there. They have fantastic ideas that can transform this country. But what they don't have is money to go into that business. Okay, so I've been...
Are you going to have a mechanism to determine the viability of the business before you invest in it? Because there are a lot of people in Ghana who want people to invest in their businesses.
You see, there are a lot of young men. Sometimes the person might not be able to explain to you the viability of that business. So
that's what I'm asking. Will you have a way of determining?
You need to sit them down. Okay, you need to sit them down to understand them perfectly. Some people, when you ask them to put them in writing, they cannot produce a very good business plan. Okay? But when you sit down with them and then you walk through with them, you'll be able to know exactly
who will do the sitting down? The training institutions or the ministries?
Oh, not necessarily the ministry. Agencies will be doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me...
Oh, no, thank you so much. Moving on to...
you see,
we're looking at health.
I want Mr. Akpaloo,
you want to respond to him?
Yes, I want him to know something. He likes talking about borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. Unfortunately, the previous and the past government has tied all our resources, okay, to borrowing. Our gold, our mining, our bauxite, everything, our oil, everything has been tied to borrowing. So if you talk about borrowing and borrowing and borrowing, nobody goes to walk into a bank and ask the bank to give me money without a collateral security. When he started, he was explaining about the Bank of Ghana. Bank of Ghana doesn't have money. Our Bank of Ghana doesn't have money. Unless the Ghana government borrows money, that will now be sent to Bank of Ghana for Bank of Ghana to credit the Bank of Ghana, the Ghana government. But Bank of Ghana itself doesn't have $10 billion. They don't have it. Now, secondly, we have tied almost everything of ours by the previous government, the two governments, to borrowing and borrowing. So right now, we do not have credibility when it comes to borrowing. As a nation, we've lost it. That is why the last borrowing we did, the $3 billion, we tied our bauxite to it. If you remember. So
your point is that your government will not borrow?
No, not only my point. I also want him to know this aspect of it.
Right.
So that once we are here and we are having discussions, we should understand each other in terms of the things we discuss. Because we are discussing for the people to hear what we have to do. I want to remind him to know that previous government so far has tied all our collateral to borrowing. So we do not have anything that can guarantee us another $10 billion.
Mr. Akpaloo, would you like to respond to that? Because
you see, anytime you mention borrowing, they look at external borrowing.
Well, Ghanaians are very wary about borrowing because we
see the
had
moment
a huge debt discussion.
The moment you mention borrowing, their mind is like going to borrow money from World Bank or IMF or whatever. I don't look at all those things. I look at Bank of Ghana. Bank of Ghana has the power to create money. Okay? You see?
I asked before if you were going to be printing money.
No,
which
you
said
see,
no.
they are two different. Okay? This one.
There's a limit to money creation.
You see this one?
I see it.
Apart from Ghana, where can you use this money?
Nowhere else, unless you convert it.
So this one, the moment I leave it here, somebody will just pick it, okay, and go and use it. But if I drop this in Italy, or UK, or Ireland, nobody will care, okay? They will think it's a paper, okay? Now, what I want to tell you is the Bank of Ghana controls this. So if this is what we call the sovereign money. Sovereign money. This is sovereign money. Now, with the sovereign money, do you know this money came into existence only when Kofi Akpaloo came into being? It became
yes, the 100 cedi.
Yeah,
I mean,
it started in circulation when
this particular denomination.
Do you know the quantity they printed? I believe you don't know, and I don't know. I can tell you maybe they printed 1 trillion pieces of this, so it's 100 trillion, or 1 billion pieces of this.
You're assuming?
Yes. So because we don't know, okay. Now what I'm trying to tell you is that Bank of Ghana as a bank can give you a facility, can give the government of Ghana a facility. If a government of Ghana need 10 trillion cedis, it has no limit. Okay? So far as we're going to use the money and use it.
But you understand that these higher denominations were printed for high value transactions.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What I'm trying to tell you is this one is not even necessary. Bank of Ghana can still give you money with that days because that is why I gave you a scenario whereby
the higher denominations were not necessary. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm trying to tell you is that it's not this I'm talking about. I brought in ledger. You see, when you borrow, anytime you borrow money from bank, the bank creates money. Okay. And when they create money, they open a loan account for you. That loan account is what they call the ledger, computer money. The money sits on the computer. They just credit your account with that money. Then you can start using the money. When you write a check to the bank will handle the check. Okay? So
if I
when
can ask you,
Mr. Hassan, I'm coming. So when Ghana government apply for a loan facility from Bank of Ghana can create a loan account for them because they hold the consolidated accounts. Okay? They can create an account. And then if it's a CD denomination, okay, they can use as much as they can.
Okay,
because
let's retire this money.
If it's a dollar, whereby you are using it for external thing, that would have been different thing altogether. But so far as we are using it within local market, okay, Bank of Ghana can give you whatever they want. So far as you promise.
Let's retire this subject. Let's move on. In 2016.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Ayariga brought in something. Let me before I go. Okay. They said there should be a collateral. Okay, collateral. Why collateral? Collateral means collateral means that if they want to know, it's a form of security that they're going to pay back the money. Is that correct? Now, when a government owes you, it's more than a security. Okay? It's more than security. Now, if we're going to use
reputation and credibility.
If we are using the money to build housing, okay? If we are going to use the money to build housing, such that our people will not be living in slums, the housing project can now serve as collateral.
So you're saying that the projects that the money will be used for is the collateral?
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
So if we're moving on. If you use the road will serve as collateral.
Mr. Akpaloo, we are moving on. In 2016, you endorsed the MPP. Are you aligning with them? Mr. Ayariga, let us retire that subject.
No, just
we'll
one second.
Move on to
one second, please. 1 second. You see, Bank of Ghana cannot be creating money. Bank of Ghana is monitored by the International Monetary Fund, IMF. So Bank of Ghana has limitations that it can do.
We did mention that there's a limit to money creation.
Yes, but he's talking about creation and cutting money and doing whatever. Bank of Ghana does not have the power to just release a lot of money into the system.
The IMF has come as like a teacher, okay? The IMF is controlling our leaders. They are controlling them simply because they have allowed themselves to be controlled that way. Because let me tell you, Mr. Ayariga did mention that
they are a development partner.
No, our debt to GDP is
71%.
To me, it's not starter. 71%, 100% whatever is not starter. Because America...
The debt level does not matter to you?
No, I'm telling you something. America's debt to GDP is 111%.
That was where we brought in the sustainability argument. And but we are repeating ourselves. So let's move on.
And let me finish. And Japanese debt to GDP is 237%. 237%.
Mr. Akpaloo, are you aligning with the MPP again in 2020? Because in 2016, you endorsed them.
No, I endorsed them because Charlotte said deny me the opportunity to contest the election. Okay.
So are you
No, I'm in the race.
So you didn't have your support this year?
No. Everybody is on his own. Are you okay? My brother, he's because Charlotte said denying him the opportunity to contest, he threw his support to John Mahama. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. When also you don't understand politics, if you understand politics, they have what we call coalition and collaborations and stuff like that.
So this year,
no, everybody's on his own. Mr. Ayariga is on the ballot. I'm on the ballot. Everybody's on the ballot. Nana Akufo-Addo is on the ballot. Mahama is on the ballot. It's up to Ghanaians to go and vote and decide who to govern us. Okay? So if you, for instance, if you go and vote for me, okay, and then I become president, will I say, oh, no, I don't want it? So go and vote for me.
Thank you so much. The viewers are listening. I'm
no,
sure
you have to vote for me.
You'll be able to convince them at the end of the day. Mr. Ayariga, you also did the same thing for the NDC. The question is, out there is a perception that the LPG...
I did not do that.
He said you threw your weight.
Yeah, he said it. Don't listen to what people say. Listen, I'm here.
Are you throwing your weight behind the NDC?
Don't listen to what people... I'm here. Ask me the question.
Are you throwing your weight behind the NDC?
I did not throw my weight with NDC.
I mean in 2020. Are you throwing your weight behind
it? Are you serious? Really? Are you serious? I'm contesting an election and you're asking me whether I'm throwing my weight on NDC.
If the election goes into a second round...
Who told you that it's going to go to a second round?
If
it goes, who told you that I will not be part of the second round?
Okay.
You see, let's allow everybody the opportunity to win the elections. Nobody goes into an election believing that he's going to lose. He says he's going to win. I say I'm going to win. John Mama says...
But you know there's a perception out there that some of the minority parties either align with the NDC or the NPP.
That is people's perception, but I'm here. Let me tell you what I know and what I don't
None
know.
of the polls have mentioned your party.
Somebody sitting in his house and
they're making his opinion polls and you want
his
to
opinion.
know. That's his opinion. Look, if you sit down today, even if you ask John Mahama or you ask President Nana Akufo-Addo today, who is going to win, all of them will say they are going to win. But are you sure they're all going to win? That's their opinion. Everybody has varied opinion.
But at least the polls would mention...
No. What polls? If I sit down in my room...
We've had Ben Epson's poll.
Ben Epson polls.
We've had the University of Ghana poll.
He did only NDC.
I'm sorry, Mr. Ayariga. From the same University of Ghana, there are 2 polls. Okay, 2 polls.
None of them mentions the LPG.
Yeah,
they mention
as a winner.
No, they are saying different things.
You see, because university, look, don't let us use psychology to defeat our purpose. Don't allow anybody to use psychology to defeat our purpose. Politicians believe in data and voting. Pastors believe in their prophecies. Opinion polls believe in their opinion. There are pastors who will come and sit down here and say, oh, tomorrow Hassan Ayariga is going to win the election. If I have 5 pastors in this country mentioning Hassan Ayariga is going to win the election, it will turn the attention of every Ghanaian to vote for Hassan Ayariga. Do you know that? If Pastor Otabel comes out...
Why hasn't the APC released his own poll?
I'm coming. If Pastor Otabel comes out to say Ayariga is winning, Pastor Duncan Williams come out to say, oh, in my dream I saw Hassan Ayariga winning the elections. Pastor Obinim comes and says, oh, Nyami Kachira Ayariga been winning the election. Pastor,
have you done any internal polls?
I'm coming. I'm telling you something. I want you to know the effect of opinion polls and what is the psychological...
So you think it's a psychological exercise?
Thank you.
But the question
even
is,
the UCG,
has the APC ever conducted any polls?
We have been doing our own thing, region by region.
And within the polls...
And I am telling you that any political leader today, I'm mentioning this, who is able to reach the voter, beside NDC and MPP, is likely to convince that person 90%. The people, the Ghanaian people out there, are tired of NDC and MPP.
Within your personal polls, what are your chances?
I'm coming to that. You've asked a question, let me learn. Any leader who is able to meet any voter from now onwards, even from last month, 2 months ago, things are changing by the day. Every day you get to the polls and you convince thousands of people who probably wanted to vote NDC and they didn't see anybody. But right now in my campaign, anywhere I go, I am able to win 90% of the people I speak to. It is a very, very encouraging position for me.
How does this percentage inform the general elections?
That is what I'm saying. If I'm able to meet 90% of Ghanaian voters and 100% of Ghanaian voters and I'm winning 90%, what it means is that we are getting to the point that the people are...
the general election, doesn't mean the general election...
The general election could this year's election is going to have different dimensions. The NDC and MPP will not get any one touch. And I'll be surprised if 2 of them are able to get first and second. I'll be shocked.
Okay, so
another party will penetrate.
If neither of them can get first or second, another party will penetrate through.
Yes.
Would that party be APC?
Absolutely. Or it could be any other
What percentage is the APC penetrating with?
I don't know now. But all I know is that we have 17 to 18 million voters. Out of the 17 to 18 million voters, the NDC has a voter population of 4 million to 4.5. MPP has a voter population the same, almost 4 million to 4.5.
And
they are all hovering around 9 million. And we have about 8 million Ghanaians who have not decided for the NDC and MPP. We are now speaking to these 8 million Ghanaians.
No, even Mr. Ayariga, let me correct something. When you ask for MPP, their members, yeah, it will be less than 1 million. And NDC likewise, okay? The previous elections, they didn't have anybody challenging them, okay, seriously. So that's why maybe Kosin Doom was trying his best, but he didn't do much. He couldn't do much, okay? Now, 2020 elections, a new ball game. Like Mr. Ayariga said, I can sit here and tell you that this election, it's going for the second round. The first round.
You're predicting a second round
yes,
for the election.
Yes.
Both of you.
Yeah, the first round, to me, I know Kofi Akpaloo will be first, I will be second. And Mahama will be third.
So you're not going to be the winner, that's what you're saying?
No, that's the first round.
Kofi Akpaloo will be first.
That is the first round. That is the first round.
And the second round?
The second round, I will win by 70%.
Amazing.
I'm the next president of this country. I will win the elections.
Mr. President.
The next president of this country, you have no parliamentary presence.
This my man here. This my man here. You'll be sure this my man here will be my chief of staff.
Policy when the parliament has no members for the party?
We have 3 arms of government.
Okay.
We have the judiciary, the legislature, the executive. MPP, who are the reps at the judiciary. NDC, who are the reps at the judiciary. And there is no part of government. So it doesn't matter. Beni, Money was an independent candidate. He ruled for 2 times. So it doesn't matter. Parliament, we can have 50% MPP, 50%, whatever. I don't give a damn.
But shouldn't you focus on improving your presence in Parliament?
No, let me tell you something.
Don't forget, Parliament is the legislature.
I
was talking and then he took it. And
took over.
So, I'm only telling you, continuing his assertion, Parliament really only passes laws.
Yeah.
But the president, if he's talking about development, is the president and the, MCEs and the DCs. They are the people who are responsible for development.
Last week, we had an Iris research report. I'm sure you're familiar with it. There are 3 PhDs, doctors, who released a report on the elections. From their perspective, there's no third party or independent candidate that is going to make it to the finals. Not first, not second position. In fact, they say it's a foregone.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you. You still don't understand the issue of opinion polls. Opinion polls are not proper polls. Go to the villages.
Oh, you think the Iris research, they use data
what is
from
Iris? Where are they coming
elections. From? They compile the data from
so if they use data from previous elections, how many people contested the previous elections? How many candidates were there? As compared to this? What was the assumptions and the opinions of people as at then as compared to today? What was the development in the minds of the people as at then as compared to? Ghanaians are tired of NDC and MPP as we speak. Wherever you go, the first thing they tell you, you have bread NDC, you have bread MPP. So you see, I was telling you something, but you are not listening to what I was trying to explain.
I'm listening, I just have to
all I want you to understand is that anybody, it could be anybody among the 12 political parties, except NDC and MPP. The 10 parties, anybody who is able to meet any voter as of now is likely to change him 90%. Because they are waiting. They are tired and sitting down waiting for another person to come beside NDC and MPP. So they themselves are yearning to make a change. For
change?
Yes, but they are not seeing the other parties coming. That is what I've seen when I've gone around. I've been around. I just came this morning, 3 a.m. If you look at me, you can see that I'm tired. I've been out there for 1 month. I didn't lie on my
Honorable, your closing remarks.
So, my closing remark is coming. But I want you to know, let us not be hyping NDC and MPP against the minority. When we do that...
It's a competition.
When we do that, we are giving them the thank you. And that is why over the years, before we came, I was chatting with Mr. Akpaloo and I was telling him that we need to also get our own TV and radio stations. Because the media attention is always on NDC and MPP. Because they have bought them.
Which means our attention is on you too.
They have bought the media houses. They bought NDC. NDC bought media platforms. MPP has it. So they are giving them enough attention. We, those who do not have our own platform, we only get opportunities when you people call us or we do on social media.
Oh, we're running out of time. Your closing remarks.
My closing remark is that as we go to 7th December, I know many of you are tired of voting NDC and MPP, and you want a change. The change is here. Ghanaians, the MPP will tell you, and then if you vote for Hassan Ayariga, you are wasting your vote. But you've wasted enough vote on them, and you haven't seen development. You've wasted enough vote on MPP and NDC. You do not have roads, you don't have gutters, you don't have water, you don't have electricity, you don't have hospitals, you don't have clinics, you don't have schools. For 30-something years, you've been wasting this vote. This time around, let's try APC and Hassan Ayariga. Let's waste that vote on Hassan Ayariga. Number 7 on the 7th of December. And let's see the change Hassan Ayariga is going to bring. As for the NDC and the MPP, we have to drop them.
Thank you so
Kofi
much.
Akpaloo said that Nana is coming first. Let me tell him that it won't happen. We'll see who
Thank you so much. Mr. Akpaloo, what are your closing remarks, please? We're running out of time.
Actually, when I become president, every child in this country below 18 years will receive a child benefit of 200 cedis every month. And then those above 18 years who are unemployed will receive unemployment benefit. Those who have never even worked before, they receive income support. And we're going to make sure we build a $10 billion job fund so that young men and young women out there who want to go into business can raise capital from that fund to start their own businesses. Because the agenda is that we want to create 1 million new entrepreneurs by 2024. I'm number 8 on the ballot. And number 8 means the new beginning. And it's also the prophetic number, the angelic number. So when you see a dream, go and vote. When the angels touches you, go and vote. Okay? Because remember, number 8 is Jesus Christ's number.
Thank you so much.
David was number 8. That's the sons of
Thank you so much, Mr. Akpaloo. Thank you to you, the viewer at home. You have just watched Spotlight, the current affairs edition. We have spoken to the LPG, Mr. Kofi Akpaloo. We have also spoken to the APC of Hassan Ayariga. Have they succeeded in convincing you to vote number 7 or number 8? We'll find out on December 7th. Thank you for watching. My name is Nuong Faalong. Join us on Wednesday for a gender policy debate.